Hi, in today's video I'll be sharing how do I structure my time as a PM to deliver value. The product I'm in is currently at the growth stage, which means that we are still looking to acquire more customers and we're looking at strategies and ways to retain the existing customer base and increase engagement. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this video is because product managers cover so many skills across the end-to-end life cycle of a product, and I believe that it's really important to prioritize within that, and depending on the stage that your product is at, you need to kind of flex different types of skills. And I just wanted to share, for a growth product, what do I currently prioritize and kind of how do I spend my time between discovery, delivery, day-to-day delivery, and give you a bit more rationale of why do I do this, and hopefully that's going to help you if you are a product manager for products that are currently in the growth stage. Roughly 40% of my time is spent in product discovery and around identifying opportunities. What does that mean? So that actually means around understanding customer base, understanding who my customers are, what are the key behaviors. I'll spend time a mix of user research as well as looking into data analytics in order to really get the good understanding of who my customers are, what are their behaviors, what are their needs, and how well are we fulfilling those needs. Now, within this discovery phase, I also cover understanding market trends, understanding competitors, and then all these findings, I really want to structure those as opportunities. So within this, I'm also looking at how do I structure those things. I generally tend to use an opportunity tree, and then kind of the output of this would be to prioritize between the different opportunities and decide which ones are worth spending our time, either to understand further or to be able to start experimenting in. So that's the 40% that I spend on discovery. Then I spend around 20% on defining the long-term and short-term roadmap and communicating it. I believe it's really important, especially when you're in the growth stage and you have so many different ways in which you can go. It's really important to create that short-term, long-term view of what you want your product to achieve. The reason why I'm putting it this way is because I think any opportunities that come from my discovery, I really want to plot this into the roadmap that I'm creating. And part of this for me is also the communication. So, and in this stage, I also want to communicate this to engineers and my teams, like product designers, delivery managers, but also stakeholders. So it's very important, kind of, I guess, the outcome of this stage, and for me, is to make sure that I have that structure in place, or I have that roadmap in place, and then I communicate that really clearly to the different groups that I engage with, so that everyone understands what's coming up and why. Why is this an important thing to focus on from a customer and business perspective? Also, as part of time that I spend on the roadmap, I also include the time I spend on updating people on progress of the roadmap or changes. Then 30% of my time is spent on product delivery. Now, what do I count as part of this section? So for me, this counts like the whole, once I decide on a problem that I believe is worth solving and I believe it's important, from like the discovery, and then I communicate in the roadmap, and then it comes to the delivery of this. So for me, it's all around definition of the problem, and I use how might we statements to bring everyone together for that. And then it's more of the stage of clearly communicating that to everyone, having those kickoff sessions, bringing people up to speed. I also believe in like working cross-functionally to solve a problem space. This will link to like your kickoffs, your brainstorming, getting engineers involved, getting your stakeholders involved in like what are the different solutions for this, what are the different things we can do, what is the best way to answer this problem. And then after that, you really be looking at defining or deciding on a solution or an experiment, and then taking that forward. So I imagine that a really good outcome of this stage for me is to have epics, so clear defined things that we are actually going to be taking into delivery. and an epic could also be an experiment, something that you're running. It really depends on level of confidence on how well do we understand the problem space. If it's going to be an experiment, if it could be further research, but ultimately it will be good for this product delivery to have something that engineers are going to build in order to solve a customer problem. And then 10% of my time is spent on what I call day-to-day delivery. Now, because in my time I spend around 20% on having that roadmap and that communication of what is coming next, and that communication with stakeholders but also with the engineering team, the day-to-day delivery for me is mainly about blockers, pretty much checking in with everyone that we're clear on what we are going to be focusing on in the next week, 2 weeks, that the objectives or the outcomes are really clear for the next month. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I believe that most of my time should be spent on defining the right opportunities that will provide value for end user and business. So then a lot of my time is spent in what is the right thing to build, and then a big chunk of my time is around communicating that and getting people's buy-in to make sure that everyone's on the same page. In that 10% of my time, I also count refinements and sessions where we're spending time together, but I also rely on my team to be able to look at the solutions and the feasibility of the solutions from a technical point of view, and then kind of bring it back and we communicate on it together and make the right decisions. What I believe that this approach and this split of my time drives is focus on what is the key problem we need to go after, what are the different opportunities and what are our customer needs, but also I think it's really important to empower the team. So through the process of the roadmap as well as the product delivery, I try as much as possible to empower the engineering team, get their buy-in early. I think as part of, building that product discovery and delivery process, you want your team to be involved as early as possible so they can contribute, they can really understand the why behind it, and they feel like they own the solution or they own the problem as much as the product manager does. So this is how I spend my time at work, and this just to highlight again that it is what I'm currently doing for a growth product. If my product was in maturity stage, I would have probably changed the priority between those different skills or the different focus areas for my role. This is what's currently my priority between those things. Hope you found it useful. Please subscribe to my channel for more product manager tips. Bye.